Reporter Aldrin Sampear, who was at the briefing earlier. Aldrin, a very good afternoon to you once again. Thank you for joining us.
Afternoon.
Look, Aldrin, final voter registration coming up this weekend. How many voters is the IEC now targeting? Is it still that 10 million potential voters?
Well, there's the number that was thrown out before the first registration vote was close to 10 million, just over 9 million voters who are eligible voters but who had not yet registered. And during that first week of the voter registration in March, about 700,000 people came out, and these are new registrations that came out. And the CEO of the IEC saying that this time around they're targeting about the same number. They're not going for the whole 8 million voters that are still eligible to vote, but they're going for a rough figure around about 700,000, which is the figure that we had last time as well. And of course, this time around, as always, the focus is on young people, getting as many young people to come out in their numbers and vote. Currently, the statistics indicate that 80% of the 8 million eligible voters are below the ages of 30. So the IEC basically appealing to those young people to come out this weekend and make sure that they vote. Another interesting thing this weekend that will be happening this weekend as well is that from tomorrow especially, the form to register to vote will now be available electronically on the IEC's website. So if you're sitting at home, you can print that out, fill it out, and then just submit it at your nearest IEC station. There'll be 22,000 stations across the country that you can submit that form to. So that's quite interesting.
Very interesting indeed. Now, look, following today's briefing, Aldrin, is the IEC indeed confident that, everything is on track? Is everything going to take place when it's supposed to?
Well, the IEC is quite confident. If anything, they're putting up a really brave face, because we know that, for instance, the Constitutional Court application that they've made after the Electoral Court ruled that all the voters' roll in the Cloco municipal by-elections were not in order. And remember that what the court then said, that you must make sure that the addresses are in order, considering the Constitutional Court ruling last year based on the Cloco municipal elections as well. And now we have the Constitutional Court has issued a date that it will hear that matter on I think it is the 9th of April, which is just 8 days, really, rather the 9th of May, which is 8 days before the term of the current incumbents at municipal councils come to an end. Their term in municipal council comes to an end on the 17th of May. So there is that bit of tension, considering that the time frame and the deadlines are really, really tight. We must have the elections before the 16th of August, or by the 16th of August.
But in the interim, Aldrin, what's going to happen to that voters' roll for those people that do not have valid addresses then?
Well, the IEC has come up with a mechanism. Like, for instance, if you go out this weekend and you want to register to vote, but you don't have a valid address, what you should do is you should fill out an affirmation form saying that I live in this particular area. Okay. And the IEC says, if you lie, if you say that you live in a particular area and you sign that affirmation form, it can be held against you, and it is a criminal offense. So if you don't have an address, you can still go out to vote. The question that the IEC wants from the Constitutional Court is, when it comes to the voters' roll in its current standing, is the ruling by the Constitutional Court last year, is it progressive, is it in retrospect, or does it look forward in terms of going forward? Every person that registers to vote must have an address, or must have enough particularities to say this is the certain area that I live in. The IEC said it won't be able to do that by June. It can only be able to do it, the latest or the earliest will be the year 2020. And we know that before the year 2020, we still have the general elections coming up, which is in 2019.
Aldrin, unfortunately, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for that update. Aldrin Sampear live with us here in studio.